When the Cold War drove military infrastructure underground across two superpowers and their allied networks, the engineers tasked with keeping those facilities functional faced a preservation problem that had no satisfactory peacetime precedent. Bunkers, command centers, supply depots, and communication nodes built into rock, soil, and concrete needed to remain structurally intact and operationally ready for decades without the maintenance access that above-ground structures allow. A facility that required regular recoating, regular inspection, or regular replacement of deteriorating components was a facility with a vulnerability. The preservation systems that emerged from that requirement were not optimized for cost or for convenience. They were optimized for longevity under the worst conditions the engineers could anticipate, and the techniques they produced were classified not because they involved exotic materials, but because the combination and application sequence revealed something about operational priorities that adversaries were not meant to understand. What those systems shared, across both superpowers' approaches and across the facilities that have since been declassified and studied, is a common architectural principle: no single coating, no single barrier, no single treatment was trusted to perform indefinitely on its own. Every critical surface received multiple layers, each addressing a different failure mode, each providing redundancy for the layer below it in the event of localized failure. This is the fundamental departure from civilian wood preservation thinking, which typically applies one treatment and considers the job complete. The Cold War underground approach considered single treatment preservation to be an unsolved problem, not a solved one with a single solution applied. The first layer addressed the most immediate threat: bulk moisture infiltration through the wood's outer surface. This layer needed to be impermeable, durable, and capable of spanning small cracks and gaps without losing continuity, because any gap in the outermost barrier was a direct pathway for moisture to reach the layers beneath it and circumvent the entire protection system. The materials selected for this layer across most Cold War underground installations were bituminous, coal tar derivatives, asphalt-based compounds, and modified bitumen formulations that could be applied thick enough to bridge surface irregularities while remaining flexible enough to accommodate the slight dimensional movement of timber under changing temperature and humidity conditions. A rigid impermeable coating that cracks under thermal cycling is worse than no coating at all, because it concentrates the moisture infiltration at the crack location rather than distributing it across the surface. BXISBS modified bitumen waterproofing membrane is the material that applies this Cold War first layer principle to modern timber preservation. SBS, styrene butadiene styrene, modification is what gives this membrane the flexibility that coal tar alone cannot achieve. It stretches rather than cracks under thermal and physical stress, maintains continuity across surface irregularities, and self-heals minor punctures through the viscoelastic properties of the modified bitumen matrix. Applied to timber in ground contact, on structural members in wet environments, or on any wood surface that needs the impermeable outer defense that the Cold War engineers required of their first layer, this is the material that provides it correctly. If the goal is preventing bulk moisture from reaching the wood at all, the first and most critical objective of any multi-layer preservation system, this is where that objective is met. The link is in the description. The biggest failure point in any multi-layer coating system is not the material, it is application consistency. A coating applied unevenly, missing corners, not reaching the underside of horizontal members, leaving thin spots at edges and joints, provides protection everywhere it was applied correctly and a direct moisture pathway everywhere it was not. The Cold War engineers who built these systems understood this as a fundamental constraint of brush and roller application on complex structural geometries. The tools that work efficiently on flat surfaces consistently miss the recesses, joints, and hidden faces where moisture attacks most aggressively. Spray application eliminates this constraint by delivering material to every accessible surface simultaneously, at a consistent film thickness that brush application cannot match across complex geometry. The Von Forn 700-watt HVLP paint sprayer, 4 nozzles, 3 spray patterns, easy clean design, gives you the coverage consistency on complex wood surfaces that the Cold War preservation engineers achieved with industrial spray systems. Consistent coverage is not a quality upgrade in this context. It is the difference between a sealed system and one with hidden gaps the moisture has already found. The link is in the description. The second and third layers of the Cold War system address different failure modes, vapor infiltration, biological activity, and the slow migration of moisture through materials that are not themselves fully impermeable. But those layers only function correctly if the first layer has been applied with the consistency and film integrity that makes it an actual barrier rather than a partial one. The sprayer is the tool that creates that consistency. The modified bitumen is the material that provides the durability and flexibility the first layer requires. Underground facilities built with this system in the 1960s and preserved according to this method are still structurally intact. The wood inside them has not rotted. The engineers who designed those systems were not working with better materials than you have access to today, they were applying the same materials with greater rigor, greater consistency, and a systematic understanding of failure modes that civilian wood preservation has never needed to develop because civilian wood is expected to be replaced. When replacement is not an option, the preservation standard changes entirely. Subscribe to In the Beginning. The product links are in the description. See you in the next one.